What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode number 44 of our Cincinnati Bengals franchise, and in today's episode we are going to be taking on the Cleveland Browns at First Energy Stadium. So the 3-0-1 Cleveland Browns, we're sitting here at 2-2. We ended up winning our last game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You can see that up in the upper left-hand corner, 30-27, so it was a very close game. Now, I would have shown you guys that gameplay. This episode 44 was actually supposed to show Steelers and Browns gameplay. So instead, we're going to be doing Bengals and the bye week. So bye week number 6, where we can kind of do some more housekeeping type of things too. We can kind of look over the college players as well. And I think now is a pretty good time to actually take your guys' prospect requests. So you guys have noticed that in the title that I am taking prospect requests for this draft class. And honestly, I'm not really having any sort of restrictions on anybody that wants to be in this thing. So is it going to take a lot for me to edit, and it's going to take me some time to create the prospects? Yes. But I will actually go into some details after the gameplay against the Browns. So stay tuned for that if you guys are interested in that. Timestamp below if you just want to go ahead and skip the entire game and just head straight to the bye week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and look and see the standings real quick, as well as the box score. And so the reason why I was unable to get this Steelers gameplay up on the channel, and that's because I had to change Case Keenum's number. So I always play it on the first sim. The first game that we play is the one that I show. I just saw Case Keenum's number was 12, and I'm like, nope, not doing that. That's stupid. Tom Brady is the only number 12 in the Patriots organization. Even though he's retired, that number is probably going to be retired. So the reason for this not being recorded or shown, guys, is that my game capture card actually did not save the recording. So my computer froze in the middle of the recording, and in order to have the save file processed and saved onto your computer, you actually have to start a recording and the recording has to stop. So if the computer freezes, it doesn't automatically save it when the computer froze. It doesn't have any kind of logic like that. It's literally, you have to manually start the recording, stop the recording. So with that being said, all the gameplay of this game was lost. And you guys can see it. We scored a last-second field goal to end the game here in the fourth quarter. We scored only 2 field goals to get to that 6 points. We had 2 turnovers. You guys will see this in just a moment as what the reason for that was. I think Andy Dalton lost a fumble. Again, go figure. Time of possession was 27 minutes. So we were really killing some clock there in the fourth quarter, just trying to wind that game down. And it was a pretty good game. It was really back and forth all the way through. A lot of yards being gained through the air, actually through the ground here. Andy Dalton had some rushing yards as well, but Mixon went off yet again, and we can take a look at some player stats here real quick. I'm actually going to show you guys both player stats so that you guys kind of get a feel and an idea of how the game actually went. So we got to Ben Roethlisberger a lot. So we had 4 sacks on the game here. Actually, Dalton had 2 interceptions, and yet again, we had some throws that were just like, why is this CPU thinking that that's where he needs to throw? Like that would never happen in the NFL. Unless, of course, like something's wrong with his finger, something's like just off with his form, and it just doesn't happen as frequently as the game would lead you to believe, right? But Dalton only took 1 sack, so the protection has been there. It's been very, very good. 297 yards, that's probably Dalton's most that he's had in the entire season. But those 2 picks really hurt, but the touchdowns, got two right there. 65% for Dalton, 82% for Ben Roethlisberger, averaging 10.8 yards per attempt, 7.4 for Dalton. Rushing wise, yeah, I mean, it seems like every time we got the 20 attempts for Mixon, we're in the 100 yards plus categories here. He had 3 broken tackles, and he had a touchdown, so that's cool. Devin Singletary taking over that role as the starting running back for Pittsburgh, had 87 rushing yards right there. James Conner got a little bit of work. So did Kemi Martin, 3 rushing attempts for 21 yards. I love his averages, guys. We need to get him the football in his hands a little bit more than he has been. in the first few weeks of the season. Dalton, like I said, had a few rushes where he had to get out of the pocket and ended up picking 7 yards apiece. So as far as receiving goes, John Ross is still killing it on these drag routes and a couple deep shots as well. So it doesn't seem to matter what he's doing. He's just hauling in a bunch of receptions and getting a lot of yards doing it, guys. 12.8 per reception. Running after the catch has not been his forte right now, right? A lot of those drag routes, a lot of them usually end in about a 5-yard gain, right? But what's really pushing these numbers up in those little short check downs, those short little drags, those short little slants, what's really pumping that average up are those big plays. So that's really what's getting him to about 4.4. Martavis Bryant, actually for this game alone, it was 4.4. Martavis Bryant, 8 receptions for 92, so he had pretty good showing there. Antonio Brown had a touchdown, only 4 receptions for 38 though, so we were shutting him down, relatively speaking. Tyler Kroft got the 2 scores. One score was actually pretty good blocking, so we hit him on a drag, and then we had some pretty good blocking out in front. I believe it was Martavis Bryant and Uzoma. Yes, that was it, if I'm believing it right. So, and then he just had a nice little lane to get into the end zone. So, nice job by Tyler Kroft. And there was another play where Dalton actually was audibling out, so we were actually trying to play checkers or play chess with the defense, trying to cause some separation for Tyler Kroft, and a little slant right back up the middle, and he found the end zone for like I think a 2-yard touchdown. So it was pretty cool. 3 receptions, 33 yards right there. So all things considered, it was a pretty good offensive showing. We only allowed 1 sack, and it came at the expense of Bobby Hart. And Bobby Hart is actually playing right now because Nate Solder is hurt, AJ Green is hurt, and Geno Atkins is hurt for extended periods of time, guys. So again, it's, being 2-2 at this point is kind of a miracle. We're playing a lot of tough teams. Like we just had the Browns a couple weeks ago, right? Now we're going to get them in today's episode. We had the Steelers twice in 4 weeks. Like that never happens, okay? So, EA's schedule making has just not been very good. Let's just take a look at the Bengals defense because there's a lot of defensive stats. There's a lot of defensive players to look at here. Carl Lawson got in on a sack. Our rookie out of Florida State, David Lely, I wish that gameplay would have shown you guys what he was doing. So once Geno Atkins got knocked out of the game, David Lely stepped in and stepped up. So he had a sack. I mean, he was playing really well, had some tackle. It should have been a tackle for a loss, but it might have gotten the guy down at the line of scrimmage, but he just was bull rushing. I mean, he's getting through the line. The guy's big, man, 6'1", 301. He's athletic enough to be a good defensive tackle for us. Jordan Willis also got in on a sack as well. That was his only tackle of the game. And then Malik Jefferson kind of sporadically getting in there. He did start, but sporadically getting in, had a sack, and Sean Williams had 8 tackles. I think he led the way. He led the team in tackles. Jesse Bates getting in, had an interception that was pretty sweet. It was pretty good. I like Jesse Bates, what he's been able to do for us, guys. It's been really nice coming at that free safety spot. So I can't wait to have him basically to be a Bengal for his career. I hope that that's the type of progression that we see from Jesse Bates, that he's going to stay here for a long, long time. Adam Waldeck was 3 for 3 for field goals, 3 for 3 for extra points. So it seems like that shaky start for preseason for Adam Waldeck has kind of faded away, and he has been pretty solid all the way through. So that is the box score, and just kind of looking ahead and seeing who we get in the next few weeks here. So like I said, for this week, we're going to get the Browns and the bye week, and then we'll do some housekeeping for the franchise in the latter part of this episode. And then we're going to get the Ravens and the Jaguars on Thursday. So Thursday at about 8 o'clock, you guys are going to be able to check that episode out. It's going to be episode 45 for those of you guys keeping track and following along in the playlist. And it's some pretty tough opponents, guys. I mean, this is no cakewalk. I know it's on the road, and then we get Jacksonville at home. Again, it's not a cakewalk. It's not going to be easy. And then we get the Chargers, and then we're going to have to deal with Andrew Luck and the Colts with that insanely deep running back core. And they're much improved, guys. So, these next 4 games, so about a month stretch, it's going to be pretty challenging. the Texans, the Cowboys, the Ravens again. The Giants are probably the easiest team left on this schedule. Maybe I would even consider the Eagles because they're in kind of this weird rebuild thing that they probably shouldn't be involved in because they had Nick Foles, they had Carson Wentz, and they just let them both go. And then they decided to go with a rookie quarterback. I don't get it. So maybe the Titans and the Redskins. So we kind of get a little bit of a break here within the last month of the season, 14 through 17. But that might be too late. So we got a lot of ground we got to make up, being at 2-2 right now, and these next few months here are must-win type of games here. You guys can see how well the Browns are playing. The Steelers are now 2-2, but the Ravens 0-3. That was really surprising to me. So we're gonna have to capitalize on that, and don't let them get off to a hot start or a comeback. Okay, so we got to take care of business on week number 7. We got to take care of business here in week number 5. It's gonna be a tough stretch, but I think we can do it. I think we have the horses in order to do that and get the job done. So if you guys were not aware, I'm going to wait this out for as long as possible, okay? Because I don't want to lose a guy like Carl Lawson, right? I don't want to have us get knocked down in that signing bonus from 41.2 to basically half for one player, right? I want to extend Carl Lawson for sure. I don't want to lose him, okay? He's got that superstar progression. It's just not a guy I'm interested in losing. And then we got Joe Mixon that we're gonna want to bring back. Vontaze Burfict is a guy that I would think I'd want to bring back, but I'm not. I'm leaning towards bringing him back for sure. Like, you want to bring back an 87 right outside linebacker, right? You want to do that, okay? 91 tackle, 94 hit power. The guy's good, okay? But it's just going to come down to that bonus type of money. If we're going to have enough money in order to sign everybody that we want to bring back. I mean, look at this: John Ross, Jordan Willis, Sean Williams. I'm thinking of maybe we let Sean Williams walk, but Jordan Willis, I'd love to bring him back. We kind of have to. And then we got some depth guys, right? But mostly it's pretty top heavy. It's actually very top heavy. Between Lawson, Green, Burfict, Mixon, Williams, Willis, Ross. I mean, it's crazy right now. So we need as much money as we possibly can, and we want to wait this thing out as long as we possibly can. So I want to see how much money that we're going to have by, like, say, week number 11. Hopefully we're up near the 60 mil mark, and then I think then we might be able to sign everybody back, which would be optimal. And again, maybe by that time, 6 more weeks, by that time we can actually start seeing some progression out of possibly Malik Jefferson, maybe give us a little bit more hope that we can possibly let Burfict walk a little bit, maybe. Who knows? Out of everybody on that list, I think Sean Williams would be the guy that I'd probably just let go, have an easier time to let go. I don't want to necessarily get rid of Burfict, but again, it's just it would come down to a money thing. If we didn't have enough money in order to do it, then I would say I would prefer to have Joe Mixon come back than Vontaze Burfict, right? So, I mean, Mixon's huge part of our offense. Kemi Martin is that backup at a 78, so he would fit in just fine. But Mixon's our guy at running back, and we've got other linebacking options other than Burfict, right? So that's just kind of my thought process as far as that goes. I'll see you guys in the gameplay against the Cleveland Browns, and then, like I said, immediately after that game, I'm going to talk to you guys about what I have planned for the scouting of the college players and how that process is going to work going forward for the series. So I'll see you in the gameplay. All right, guys, time to get this gameplay underway. Cincinnati Bengals against the Cleveland Browns, the 3-0-1 Cleveland Browns. So we got to keep that in mind when we get into this gameplay, because this is a very, very good football team that we're headed up against. Offensively speaking, they've got a lot of youngsters: Baker Mayfield, Noah Fant, Duke Johnson, DK Metcalf. They've also got Josh Gordon, Jarvis Landry. It's a good team. It's a very good team. And then defensive line speaking, Ogunjobi, Vic Beasley Jr. they signed in the offseason, and as well as Myles Garrett. Everybody knows who Myles Garrett is. He's a 99 overall player right now in this 2020 franchise series in Madden. So, tough team. Very, very tough team. And it's going to impose a lot of difficulties on top of this offensive line that is seeing that we've got some injuries on that offensive line. Nate Solder at right tackle is no longer with us for the foreseeable future. So we're starting Bobby Hart, a 66 overall player. It's gonna be tough because he's got a tough task against either Beasley or Myles Garrett, depending on who and where they decide to line up. So you guys can see Dalton's already facing off against some heavy pressure here against the Cleveland Browns. And we do get a pass complete to the left to Martavis Bryant for at least 9. It's going to be 3rd and 1. And we're going to go with our fullback here, Ricky Ortiz, who's going to pick up the first down. Big tackle there by Ogunjobi, so he hit him pretty hard. But fullback on defensive tackle, two meatheads getting at it here. So here is a toss play to Joe Mixon, who's going to spin off of the tackles to get the extra yardage there last week, 20 for 155. So we got to try to get him going a little bit. But like I said, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And I wish that Caleb Johnson was going to be able to block that receiver out rather than moving to the left. I don't have any idea what that was. If you guys go back in the replay and watch that, yeah, so Mixon had to juke, then proceeded to fumble because he tried to spin and make another play on a player that Caleb Johnson should have been able to block. It was stupid. So fumble recovery turns into a touchdown for Cleveland. We see that Joe Mixon here getting involved again, so we're not afraid to go back to him. He is our workhorse back. That's 2 straight completions for 8+ yards. And here on 3rd and 2, we're trying to fire out to John Ross in the corner, looking for the pylon, and it's going to go incomplete. So Andy Dalton with that deep throw accuracy, unable to get it. And look at this play, guys. Unreal. Jesse Bates and Sean Williams both coming in for safety blitzes, and they didn't get home. They did not get home. So 75-yard plus touchdown for Duke Johnson. And if you guys look at this replay here, look at the left. That was user control Jesse Bates. My fault, obviously. But, you got to angle that off. You got to go after him. And then looking on the right here, you guys saw that Sean Williams was tripping over offensive linemen. So you guys saw our injury report here, our list of inactives. It's going to play a huge role. I seriously feel like Geno Atkins being gone is really hurting this team defensively speaking. Last 3 weeks that we've played, we've given up over 100 rushing yards on the ground to opposing running backs. So this hasn't been a very stingy defense for Cincinnati. So we see that we do get some positive yardage here going forward on this drive. Nice reception here to Desmond Dallas, our rookie. He's going to get about 15 there. So 1st down and 10 set up and trying to fire it low to Tyler Kroft, and it's going to go incomplete at the feet of Tyler Kroft. So an inaccurate throw by Dalton. And we see that pressure is going to get to him here. Incomplete pass, 3rd and 10, and more pressure. Trying to throw to RB up the middle, and couldn't get the throw off in time as he was moving backward. So Adam Waldeck, the kicker, going to come on and kick the field goal. It's going to be 14-6. So we're only down 8. So we're technically down 1 score. Got to get the 2-point conversion, though. And I don't feel like I'm going to be wanting to chase points early on in the game here. But look at this interception. Jaquan Johnson, the player out of Miami, who's a 2018 draft prospect, guys. Just watch out for this player. We traded up in the 1st round to go grab this guy 2 years ago, right? And he didn't see a lot of playing time in 2019, but 2020 he has taken on the role of sub linebacker and backup free safety, or strong safety, to Sean Williams. And guys, he's playing well. He's racking up a ton of tackles, and that pick 6 for Jaquan, he had to actually dive for the reception, get up, put on the juke move. The guy's a playmaker, guys, and I'm so happy to have him part of this team. And that's going to get us down 14-13, as we did not elect to go for a 2-point conversion. Just get the extra point. You're only down 1 still. It's nothing crazy. And look at this play by Jaquan Johnson. Yet again, an awesome play to knock that ball away in the pass coverage. And here is Myles Garrett getting in on his 2nd sack of the game. It's going to push the Bengals back to 2nd and 17 after an 8-yard reception to John Ross. It's going to be 3rd and 9, and trying to fire to John Ross yet again is not going to get the first down. So we got to give the football back to Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. And here's Jarvis Landry with a reception. Aqib Talib is getting beat by Mr. Jarvis Landry here so far in tonight's football game. 4:15 left to go. As soon as that penalty hits, it's a holding on the Browns, so that play to Landry was negated, and Jesse Bates is going to have to make this tackle on Duke Johnson. They're going to pick up a lot of yards. It's going to be 2nd and 9 now, And here's Bernardrick McKinney trying to get into coverage there, but Jaquan Johnson, yet again, making a nice pass deflection. He's awesome. I love this guy, man. He's all over the field. So 2nd and 9 turns into 2nd and 19 as another holding call is going to push the Browns back. But here is a almost interception by Aqib Talib. It's going to be 3rd and 19. So 17-13, they're up. And look at this. Jonathan Hankins trying to make a play there. Unable to stop Johnson, but Jaquan Johnson does. So nice job. So the Miami product, Jaquan Johnson, stops Duke Johnson, the former Miami product. So field goal by Janikowski is going to get missed. It's going to be 17-13 still. Second quarter, 1:36 left to go, and Dalton is just getting wrecked right now, guys. That right side with Caleb Johnson and Bobby Hart is struggling against Myles Garrett. Obviously so, right? I mean, you'd predict that any day and twice on Sundays. That guy's insane. The guy's insane. So after this incompletion, it's going to be 17-16 as Adam Waldeck has to get called on again. And we're going to go into the second half, start of the third quarter, down by a point, kind of holding their own a little bit. We have not given we do have a turnover. That is the Mixon fumble for a touchdown. So 2 defensive touchdowns here so far in this game. So Mayfield had an interception return for a touchdown by Jaquan Johnson. And then obviously Mixon had that fumble recovery turned into a touchdown as well. So here's Dalton firing out to the right. It goes incomplete, and he was trying to throw the football away, but he freaked out, and it's going to be an intentional grounding pass. An intentional grounding penalty. So it's going to give the Cleveland Browns the football back as we had to punt the football away. DK Metcalf with a big-time reception up the middle. Marvin Lewis is beside himself right now because McKinney had that covered. He should have picked that off, and it just didn't happen. 6:22 left to go as Darqueze Dennard getting in on a sack on Mayfield. It's going to be 3rd and 13. And again, they're in field goal range, so if we can get this stop, it's going to do wonders here for our... Well, spoke too soon. Jaquan Johnson misses the tackle, the for sure field goal stopping tackle, okay, or the touchdown stopping tackle, because now that missed tackle turns into a touchdown, and it's going to be 24-16. So yet again, we find ourselves down 8, and here's Martavis Bryant coming up with a big reception there and missing some tackles to get a lot of positive yardage. 1st and 10. Dalton dropping back. He's going to fire a little touch pass out there to John Ross. And now we're starting to get something cooking here late in the third quarter here. Here is Martavis Bryant up the middle on a slant. Going to pick up the first down. It's going to be 1st and 10 yet again. And Martavis Bryant yet again on another slant. So we're starting to work that slant, and they're not able to stop it here. 2nd and 3. Down 8. Keep in mind we're down 8. Get a touchdown here. You can go for 2. You can try to chase some points here in the second half. It would be a really good idea to do that now, as you don't want to leave points on the board here early in the game. But a sack's going to get to 3rd and 12, and looking at up the middle, going to Mixon, there's just nothing open to try to get that first down. It's a do-or-die play, and Waldeck is going to come on and pick up another field goal. So he's got 4 field goals so far in this game. It's 24-19. We're only down 5. So a touchdown is going to get us the lead, but our defense has to come through and get a stop here, guys. But look at this. Pass complete out there to Noah Fant, and the miscommunication between McKinney and Jesse Bates as to who was coming in on the tackle, you don't want to run into your own teammates, is going to lead to a first down and a big one. But look at this. Bad coverage there by Sean Williams in the zone coverage and the deep 2 safety coverage right there in the blue. Took the outside receiver rather than the inside, and it's going to lead to a touchdown to Josh Gordon, and then Aqib Talib on the next drive for Cleveland up 31-19 is going to lead to a 63-yard touchdown to Jarvis Landry as he was trying to make a play, trying to get the interception. And guys, we're gonna get another loss to Cleveland. So the Cleveland Browns are now 4-0-1 on the season, and we have now dropped two games to the Browns, and we fall to 2-3. Myles Garrett had 4 sacks on the game. The guy was obviously the player of the game. Just an insane performance, and you know what? It just lines up perfectly, guys. I mean, he was lining up against Bobby Hart and Caleb Johnson. Like we didn't stand a chance. In my opinion, I think we probably should have, in hindsight, moved Lane Johnson over to the right side, but I guess it wouldn't matter because any way that you flip-flop them, the coaching staff was going to put Myles Garrett in a position to succeed. And the next guy up was Bobby Hart and Caleb Johnson. Like, those are our only other options at tackle and guard right now. So, I mean, no matter what you do, they're going to try to expose you. And they got exposed. 31 of 40 for Dalton. It's not like he played terrible, but no touchdowns, no picks. It's not really going to cut it. 10 attempts for Joe Mixon for 50 yards. That's a 5 average. John Ross had a pretty good game. Mixon had 7 receptions for 71. Martavis Bryant with, I think that's 8 catches for 70-plus yards. 2 sacks allowed for Lane Johnson, but 3 sacks allowed for Bobby Hart. It just was not a good performance at the tackle position for us in today's game against the Browns. So we also got McKinney getting involved, Jonathan Hankins and Darquez Denard getting a sack apiece, and then Jaquan Johnson obviously with that interception for a touchdown. And because of his performance as of late, he's now going to be progressing to a 79 overall. Kemi Martin is also a 79 overall. And we're going to go ahead and check out some housekeeping in the bye week. All right, guys, so very frustrating loss, to say the least, against this Browns team, 38-19. And when we look at the standings here, the Browns are playing well, guys. They came into this game 3-0-1. Like, this isn't a team that, you're used to, right? This is a Cleveland Browns team in 2020 that has vastly improved with a bunch of offensive weapons. Duke Johnson has been running the football on us with much improvement. Like, that offensive line was invested in 2018. Got really young. Obviously, it's been panning out for that team, and this is a good team, guys. So I did not anticipate the Browns being this good in this franchise series in 2020. I thought it was going to basically be the Ravens and us. But you know what? At this current point, though, even it being 4-0-1, the Bengals 2-3, Steelers 2-3, Ravens 1-3. They just beat the Steelers. You guys, if you saw that on the bottom line score there with the update ticker, this is going to be a pretty interesting race. Now, obviously, if the Browns keep on winning, they can put this thing away, right? But it's far from over. It's only week 6. We're finally in our bye week. We can kind of catch up on some things, really figure out what the heck is going on with our defense. Because if you guys look here at our defensive stats, it's not good. It's not good. Our offense, though, actually ranks in the top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 in yards, right? Our rushing attack should be okay, so it's first place. Our points per game, though, at 26. I mean, look at the Browns right now. 31 for points per game. That's really good. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're 6th in points per game. So again, I just think that our record is a byproduct of the teams that we've been playing, right? We've had to play the Browns twice. We are now 0-2 against the Browns, and we're not going to face them again for the rest of the entire season. Right? I mean, even when we're looking at the first down numbers, right? They have 89. We're sitting here at 81. So, I mean, our offense can move the football. I mean, that is no secret whatsoever. Our passing offense is not so good, but I think it's because of our running game that's really pushing us over the top here. A lot of this West Coast type of offense for the Bengals. I mean, we're near the bottom tier here, sitting at 1152. For yards passed. Now, if we go to defense, this is kind of concerning, though, because honestly, I thought our defense was going to be better than it was, or better than it has been. We're getting chewed up, especially on the ground. 673 yards against on the ground. That's good for 3rd worst in the NFL. Points allowed, we're giving up 134 points. We're getting into some shootouts. Our defense is getting lit up. 20 sacks, though, so we're right up there with the Browns. And again, the Cleveland Browns, guys, that defensive line is nasty. Vic Beasley Jr., they got Myles Garrett, Ogunjobi. This is a really good football team. And, just to be with them in the same type of echelon here with 20 sacks and 23 and But then again, it's the points allowed. It's the passing offense as well. I mean, we're getting chewed up, guys. 1,100. Actually, our passing defense isn't that bad. You know, it's actually pretty decent. It's the run game, though. We have not been able to stop the run, and in franchise years past, actually the first 2 years, we were doing really well against the run. So I think a major reason for this is we're just missing Geno Atkins. Geno Atkins is out for another 2 weeks. So hopefully by then things can start to turn the corner. But I want to give you guys a little update here as far as the statistics actually go for us. And I mean, we can see Andy Dalton here having 1,269 yards, 58% completion rating. And if we look at his past statistics as far as, not there, his past statistics here since I've controlled him, you know, he's he's been hovering around that 62, 65%, right? So 2020 has not been too kind to him so far. But, you know, 32 touchdowns, 18 picks, 30 touchdowns, 16 picks. I mean, these aren't terrible numbers, right? These are Andy Dalton-esque type of numbers. And in fact, we might actually be performing better with Andy Dalton than what Andy Dalton would have been performing at on his own, right? So, yeah, these are some pretty okay numbers. They're decent, right? They're decent. They're not going to push the needle. They're not going to push the envelope, but they're decent, right? But he's taking a step back this year. And I have a feeling that that's mostly because of A.J. Green being out. And with A.J. Green, you know, not being involved in this offense, I mean, he's eligible to come back next week for week number 7, which is going to help out big time. So A.J. Green being able to come back is going to help out big time, guys. I mean, you can see the touchdown numbers here. Croft with 3, Bryant with 2, Ross with 2. You know, 484 yards, 339 from Martavis Bryant. Now, if we look at that compared to the rest of the NFL, it's right on par. It's right on par. I mean, look at John Ross is 3rd in yards, receptions 34 to 36 to Tywan Taylor. So I mean, it's like the passing game for us. Again, we're scoring points. We're putting points up on the board. It's just that Andy Dalton, he's not throwing the ball downfield, right? I mean, it's this 58% completion rating. We're going after these short type of throws and, you know, not hitting guys deep. I mean, we can look at the rest of the NFL for quarterbacks. I mean, look at this, 9 yards per play. Let's see, 9 yards. Actually, there's Adam Gonzalez, guys. There you go. Okay, so Baker Mayfield with 9. Right, Kirk Cousins with 8.4. Watson with 8.4. Mariota 8.2. Sturzilek 8, a rookie. Well, he's only got one attempt. Goff with 7.9. Wade DeLucio with 7.9. He's got 13 touchdowns already. Right, so obviously, Dalton's lacking here a little bit. Just saying, 58%, not good enough. You got 65, you got 70. Just not good enough. So, all things considered, though, our offense is 5th in yards, and I think a lot of that might have to do with the fact that our defense is getting shredded, so our offense has to get back out on the field frequently. So having A.J. Green coming back next week is going to be a good thing, a very good thing. So we are going to get him back in the depth chart as our number 1 wideout. John Ross at the number 2 is fine. Martavis Bryant's going to move to that number 3 spot. And you know what I think I'm going to actually start doing is actually get John Ross going in the slot. So he's going to be the slot receiver with the 2 outsides being Green and Martavis Bryant. So I feel like that might change the offense a little bit. But I feel like if we might be able to go deeper, we might be able to get some more deep threats going on here with Bryant and Green. Because of their height, I feel like they can beat some corners. We don't have to be so limited in, you know, these short intermediate throws. John Ross in the slot here, we can still utilize the drag routes, and he's gonna do some good things. Because I mean, in 4 wide receiver sets, you've also got another big body here in Desmond Dallas. Tyler Boyd's a pretty big figure at 6'2". John Ross will be fine. John Ross will be fine. And I think that that's the route we're going to go is Bryant, Green, and Ross. Ross is the slot guy. So I'm going to go ahead and change that as well to get him into the slot receiver. And let's see here. We want John Ross to be the slot. And Desmond Dallas is going to be the number 2. Boyd, number 3. Okay, so there you guys go. So we're set there. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys are going to actually be calling for Tim Brady's appearance here soon. And honestly, I mean, when we look at his numbers here, he is definitely a better passer as far as throw power goes. Shorter accuracy is okay. I mean, it's close. It's close. Medium throw is a lot better. Deep throw is not a lot better, but it's an 80 to a 79. The throw on the run, not so good. Dalton, but even Dalton at an 85, he just, for whatever reason, just can't do it. We get a lot of the red markers, a lot of the red text popping through. Throw on the run, under pressure, can't make the throw. Throw under pressure is an 88 though, 69 for Tim Brady. So he's got some things that he's got to work on. Play action is an 86 compared to an 80. We got to work with Tim Brady a little bit longer here. But you know what? At the rate that this season is going under Andy Dalton's tenure, I mean, we might find ourselves in a not a very good situation here. Because when we look at this schedule, again, like I've mentioned before, it's a tough schedule, guys. It's a very tough schedule. We lost to the Patriots by 3. Really started off really good against the Steelers, and they're starting to lose some games too. And then we beat them here by 3. So we went 2-0 against the Steelers. Now we're 0-2 against the Browns. Then lost the Patriots. So it's not like we're playing terrible, but it's just this Browns thing. I feel like the Browns are legit. So I feel like if we stick with Dalton, see how this thing goes. This is a crucial next Thursday, guys. Ravens and Jaguars. These are 2 crucial games. If we can somehow split, we're going to be 3-4. We're going to be 3-4 as we take on the Chargers and the Colts. I feel like the Colts and the Texans are winnable games here, and so are the Cowboys. But it doesn't mean it's not going to be a walk in the park. We still got a lot of work to do. But again, if Dalton can't get it done, the quarterback change might be necessary. And it really comes down to the fact that under the primetime lights, he hasn't really been able to get it done. This was a primetime game. This was a primetime game. This was a primetime game. And that was a primetime game. So the Bengals actually have been playing 4 primetime games. I mean, look at this. Sunday Night Football. Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Sunday Night Football. Then, by the way, we also get another Monday Night Football, and then we get another Sunday Night Football, and then a Monday Night Football. So the Bengals are in prime time, big time, for the 2020 season, and we're letting the people down. We're letting all of our fans and all these people that are watching nationally. We're letting these guys down. Nate Solder is coming back, but I'm gonna let him sit, play through the injury. I don't want to do that. We need him. So we're gonna start Bobby Hart for just this week, and hopefully he'll be back by week number 7. So actually, let's go ahead and take a look here. So he's out for 3 more weeks. Geno Atkins is out he might be able to play. He might be able to play against the Ravens. He will for sure be able to play against the Jaguars. Nate Solder probably going to be able to play against the Chargers. So, yet again, this doesn't line up too well for us. You got Hart giving up a lot of sacks right now. It's just really not working out. This right side is killing us. Caleb Johnson, I don't think he's playing too bad. I don't think he is playing terribly. Let's check his stats out here real quick. He's given up 3 sacks so far. It's not bad. I mean, it's not bad considering that we're 5 weeks in, right? I mean, you're going to give up sacks. I want to see what's Billy Price doing. I feel like there's quite a bit of pressure coming from the center spot. Nope, doing fine. He's got 1 sack allowed. So we're going on the road here in week number 7. We're coming back home for 2 games for week 8 and week 9. And like I said, hopefully by week 11 we possibly get into the 55s, maybe 60. I don't think we're going to get into the 60 ranges, but you never know. if we have a sellout crowd on that Monday night game against the Jaguars, or the primetime game against the Jaguars. I think we should be doing pretty hot there with the funds. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. I'm kind of in a weird spot, actually, because I don't know how this football team is 2-3 right now. I seriously think it's just due to the fact that we played some really good teams. Played the Browns twice. They're 4-0. They're undefeated. Baker Mayfield's definitely got them playing. And then we lost to the Patriots in kind of a tough loss there. So it's weird because coming off a 13-3 season, I felt like we played a little bit over our heads. John Ross was balling out. Right now he's doing pretty good, but there's just something a little bit off with him right now. He's not taking it to that same level that we had him playing at last year. So all right, so that's going to be it for this episode. I do want to talk to you guys about the scouting of the college players right here. You can see on this list that there are a lot of quarterbacks being able to be taken, and quite honestly, since we already drafted Tim Brady, it's probably not likely that we're going to be taking a quarterback again. But if you guys would like to be a quarterback, if you guys would like to be a running back, a wide receiver, it doesn't matter to me what you guys want to be. I'm going to be taking, I'm going to take 20. I'll take 20 requests. So if you guys want to be in this franchise, post in the comment section below, name, school, position, top 3 attributes, and honestly, you might want to do, so if let's say you're a left end, right? You might want to do those 3 things that are important to that position. Because if you tell me speed as a left end, I might give you guys 4. Give me the 4 attributes, and we'll go with that. Let's try not to have a bunch of first rounders, right? Bunch of first round talent. Second round talent, third round talent, maybe sprinkle in a guy, maybe. Because I am going to take some of those players too. Probably make those guys into like diamonds in the rough or whatever. It'd kind of be fun. But again, there's only so many spots. I'm probably not going to be in a position to take a lot of you guys, but I will try. And of course, if you get drafted by another team, which is highly likely, I hope you guys are on board with that, and looking forward to seeing how you're going to play. So, and also, by the way, guys, I will be updating you on your players' statistics in the next episode, possibly when we get to about near the end of the year, because I don't think it really does us any good just checking out like mid-season. Let's wait till like about week 10, week 11, and get a nice stats update on you guys' players. You guys did see Adam Gonzalez for the 49ers had a couple passes thrown, so I think Jimmy G might be out. That's kind of interesting. So, yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got for this episode. Like I said, if you guys really want me to be specific here on your player, just make sure you get the name, number, position, top 3 attributes, and we'll go from there. So that's going to be it for this episode. Leave a like if you like this thing, guys. Can't say I'm sorry because I think it's interesting for storylines. But, yeah, I wish we were playing better. But you guys have seen the Bengals here for a little while now. A couple months, about 5 months now. And you guys have been able to check and see how we've progressed. And now we're starting to kind of fall out a little bit. Hopefully we can kind of pick it back up. So you guys have seen the highs and the lows of this franchise series, so it doesn't mean that we're done yet, right? Keep in mind, we have never not made the playoffs. So don't freak out. We're good. We're in a good spot. I think we're okay. It's just we got to really kick it into high gear here with the offense and play a little bit better defensively. Maybe start throwing in some blitzes and actually hitting some of our gaps. That was frustrating on that Duke Johnson 85-yard rush. Brutal. So, guys that have been here for a while and in this long haul, I know you guys are here to stay, and you guys are going to be watching no matter what. So you guys are going to be interested to see how we pull ourselves back up. Or if Marvin Lewis can't bring these guys back up, is it time for a change? We'll see then. As always, hooday and peace.